next stage, like I said, in this particular song or whatever, you know, I would definitely double check the intonation. So let's pull up. My favorite is Antera's Autotune. But actually, strangely enough, I never use the Autotune function. I use the graphic mode. And this is an older version of Autotune, so I might have to refresh how I work with this. But like I said, it's relatively simple to do. You know, if you use the Autotune function and turn the retune speed up, it's going to sound processed. It's going to give you that, you know, I guess Kid Rock and Cher. You know, it's one of the earlier records, or earlier songs. You heard the effect. And it gives you that robot, and that sounds really cool to a lot of people. You know, obviously in the pop culture, it's just like, I mean,
it works.
Yeah. I mean, you got, you know, that's some people's whole sound is Auto-Tune, but yeah. I think I'm using this as a tool to correct intonations and not necessarily like make it sound like a robot or something like that. So I use the graphic function of it, but yeah, really simple. I'm highlighting the first vocal track here. I'm going to track the pitch in, just click the track pitch, preview.
Don't bare your neck to the wolf.
And let's see if we have and for some reason I do not have a printout. Let me see.
Don't bare your neck to the wolf.
Cool. And you see here, it gives a graphic representation of the note. Like I said, he's really close to the pitch. Goes a little bit sharp on this, on this vibrato. I usually use a slower retune. If you use the factory default's a 20 setting. I don't know what that's relative to as far as retune speed. But I've noticed it sounds more natural, and I know Tommy prefers his vocals to sound natural. So I usually back it off to about 45, or even, you know, with the vibrato, to make it sound natural, I'll back it off to like 100 or something. And these are just settings that I've developed. I mean, there's lots of different people do a lot of different things, but every once in a while, if it's like a really razor note, really quick note, you can tune it all the way up. And you can actually, it'd be usable. But the main thing is to use your ear and see what sounds natural.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where I can instantly hear
the tuning.
And so me personally, I'm very picky. Like it bothers me when I hear that. It's hard that digital sound in a vocal.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed about Melodyne. I know I'm a big fan of Melodyne. I can hear Melodyne every time. It just makes the voice sound like tinny or whatever. And maybe it's just older version I'm talking about or something. Maybe they fixed it since then. But the algorithm makes the voice sound metallic, even if it's like not a hard tune or something. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm just a fan. Auto-tune can sound really natural if you really work with the retune speeds and you just don't tune it too hard, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've slowed the retune speed for Tommy because we want a more natural sound. We'll grab this tool, which is you kind of just draw the lines in. This note's a hair sharp, so I'm gonna draw that in. This note's pretty much on there, but and see, I'm not doing every single portion. If we tuned all that, the slide ins and yeah, if you tuned all that, that's what's going to make it sound robotic. So I'm going to leave that. I just want the bulk of the notes to be in tune. Now for this vibrato, I'm gonna tune that a little slower. Let me see how this works, because this is the older version that. So some of the things are a little different. But like once you get your the newer version, oh yeah, this has snap to note. Cool. Newer version, you can set like say this to 20 or to 45. This portion, and then this part to. I don't know if this version allows you to do that, but we'll see what it sounds like. And then once you get it drawn in. The new version's cool because it shows you what it's doing, and this may have a setting to allow me to do that. Let me see if this has. Make curve. I'll just go. Well, I won't worry about it for now, but the new version shows you what it's going to do to the audio. But like we've processed the track.
As far as an engineer, do you think it's beneficial to have a knowledge of like melody.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yes.
I notice even when you're working, you always, and you help me with singing, like you're good with notes, and I didn't know if you, I think it's beneficial working with someone like that.
To have a sense of pitch, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, this is gonna sound terrible. Honestly, like, I think if you want to be a quality engineer or producer, if you don't have a good natural sense of rhythm and a good sense of pitch, don't even try to do it. Like, I mean, it's just, you know, it's gonna.
It's good though.
Yeah, I mean, it's
thanks.
just, you know, everybody, you know, the whole, oh, you can do anything you set your mind to. And that may, you know, I've seen people overcome it, but it could take years to develop a sense of rhythm that some people were just born with. You know, just, if, you know, I would just, you know, try to go after something in life that you have the natural skill set to do. Like, you're not going to see me running a 200-mile marathon or something like that. It's just not going to happen, or a 2-mile marathon.
2 miles
just-
would be a marathon.
Yeah, exactly. For me, yeah. I mean, it's just like, you know, it's just not going to happen. I'm not built for it. So, you know, it's kind of, I feel like, you know, music and production's kind of that same way, you know. I think, you know, you're going to be, you know, yeah, it's really good to have a good sense of pitch, and, you know, because like I said, I've had people who don't have a good sense of pitch, or, you know, don't have a knowledge, you know, working knowledge of theory, and tuning vocals is like, I'm like, how would you do that?
Yeah.
I don't even know. How would you, I mean, you just like, you could look on the screen and see, but I mean, what if the dude's singing closer to the wrong note? Luckily with Tommy, he's close, and it's pretty obvious. But see, some other dude would just be he's like, okay, maybe he's supposed to be singing, you know, and it's just like, that's not what you're going for, or whatever. So,
Cool.
but yeah, let's do it. Like I said, we'll check that. Check.
Don't bare your neck to the wolf.
That sounds good, and it looks good. Like I said, it's not absolutely rock solid in pitch, but like I said, I found with you know, like earlier, you know, in my tuning, I would be like, oh, it's still a little sharp. You know, my OCD it looks a little, you know. But I've learned that these are kind of like a graphical representation of a ratio, and the vocals, like I said, you see this vibrato goes up and down.
Yeah.
It's like that's the sharp and flat of the note, but the overall note is in tune.
Yeah.
You know, so vocals, and you know, with the guitar, when you're playing a fret, that note is either in tune or sharp.
Right.
Always. Bass, same way. With vocals, the vocals can go up and, you know, up and down, so, and it actually still sound in tune. It's just a kind of a strange thing or whatever, but that's usually what you want. But I've noticed, to my experience, it's better if you can just hit it once and that's it, and then see what it sounds like in the mix. And if in the mix it sounds a little weird, it might still sound a little pitchy even by itself. But if in the mix it sounds good, then it's good, you know.
Okay. A couple people online wanted to know what retune speed actually is doing. So what's that? What's that? What's fast and slow? What's the difference?
Well, I can give you a graphical representation of that. Let's actually let me redo that because that was good. Let's do this other dub here, and I'll show you what it does.
Don't bare your neck to the wolf.
So that's that one I was talking about. That was that first take. That was sharp. If you use the fast retune speed, and I'll show you. You draw in my lines. These are the notes we want. So these are the notes we want. If we use a fast retune speed, check out what it looks like and sounds like.
Don't bare your neck to the wolf.
T-Pain. You
Which
know?
could, which
Is
certain
kind of cool.
music that
We've
really
actually
works.
done some stuff on purpose. We're like, hey, we want that, you know, cynic, vocodery sound.
Yeah.
And actually layered it with some synths and this type of thing or whatever. They make pedals that do this too, or whatever. But like I said, if you tune it up fast, it retunes the notes.
Smashes it, yeah, to that
immediately.
note.
Like it's just, you know. So I don't know what the algorithm or the, you know, like what you would call this, cycles or whatever. But like I said, if you do it too slow, let me give you an example of that. Or really slow. Okay, here's our same deal. Let's do it as slow as possible.
Don't bare your neck to the wolf.
It didn't tune it
Enough.
well enough.
Yeah.
You know. So it's a matter. You want to mess with this. Like I said, the default is 20, which still sounds processed to me. Now, if you're going for that, hey, I want it to sound like a pop song, like Kesha or something like that, they're almost tune it at 20 or higher
Yeah, okay.
always, you know, because they want that kind of synthetic type of sound. You know, it's kind of desired type of thing. And so, you know, Antares Autotune's known for that sound, so they just default to their. Like I said, I usually with Tommy it would be like 45 and up. You know, I rarely see a need to go beyond like 150 because then you start, you know, it's like not really retuning it fast. Cool thing with this stuff, you can use it for. I've used it for strings players. You know, because obviously they don't have frets, so it's, you know, they'll go sharp or flat. You can use it for other because it has different sounds. Actually, it's got this set on soprano voice, which actually Tommy's more in the alto tenor. So it should be set to here. But like you can use it for, you know, like instruments. You can tune single note things. I mean, this doesn't tune anything with a chord. Yeah. And they have there's some plugins that are made by companies, but they don't think they sound good. They just kind of, you know, it might work in a pinch, you know, like worst case scenario, but if like a guitar chord's out of tune, just retrack it, you know. It's like, unfortunately, it's, you know, the only route there. But anything that's single note, like sometimes for guitar leads, I've used, you know, vocal tune, like a guy does a bend, like, and it's just a little sharp. I'll just use I'll just go in graphically and tune that note just a little down, you know, and it works great. So not only for this, but I'll do a little bit of this vocal stuff and redo this properly, or how I would normally do it.
Don't bare your neck to the wolf.
And see, luckily, like I said, we just tuned the vocal, the primary vocal, and I've already vocal lined it. And since I vocal lined it, this curve I've already set up is the same. So I can just make like minor tweaks, and it just saves a little time there. Yeah, I do the retune speed. 45, I want to do this part. Like 100. See what it does.
Don't bare your neck to the wolf.
Sounds pretty good. So it's still got a little bit of sharpness here, a little bit of flatness, but you can come back and hit this again.
And it'll actually
Do it
take
again.
that take you just made.
Yeah, and then you can, you can do a
reapply
little
it.
further. Yeah.
Cool.
Like I said, normally I want to do this to a minimum.
Yeah.
Because if you just keep hitting it, it's going to sound more processed. You know, but usually too, like if you just, especially if you're just doing moments and using a slow retune speed, things of that nature. And actually, like I said, this is an older version of Antares Autotune. I have Antares Autotune Evo. I feel like it sounds a little better. They keep, you know, they keep getting better. I think, you know, there's some stuff about the old one that I actually like better functionality wise, but I feel like it really does. They really have gotten better with as far as the algorithm they're using and stuff. But let's see if this.
Don't bare your neck to the wolf.
Sounds better to me. Sounds a little tuned on the end, but like I said, we're keeping in mind. Like I said, I'm going to use this as a layer. This is a dub. It's not the primary. So honestly, the harmonies in the primary, you can have sound a little more tuned. You know, unless you're, you know, Tommy doesn't like that. Like he wants it all to sound natural or whatever. So you know, it takes a little bit extra
Well,
work.
I notice it in harmonies.
Yeah.
Like if you have like a big harmony in the background, if all
If
that's
it's
like
perfect.
if all that's tuned a lot, it just sounds no chords are gonna be that perfect with a voice.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
That's what bothers me when I hear music. I'm like, it just sounds. Even stuff I've done, like sometimes I'm like it's too perfect sounding.
Yeah, it's definitely a preference. And
It
it
is,
just
yeah.
depends on, you know, like I said, what style of music. Like I said, I mean, you know, if you're doing more processed style of metal or rock or whatever, then
Yeah.
you know, having that spot on edge, you know, like the. I'm trying to think of a good example. Maroon 5, his vocals are spot on. You know, he's a great singer too, but it's kind of one of those deals. But like I said, these dubs, I'm just lightly blending in or whatever. So if there's slight artifacts in there, or if it's slightly pitchy still, it's usually not too big of a deal. It kind of gives that natural coarse sound that you were going after for the double anyway. If it was exactly the same, you might have some phase problems, and it's going to possibly cancel each other out or whatever, or you're not going to get the thickness that you're actually going for to begin with. This is where I have it. Three blind mice, whole steps. if you got a good sense of pitch or whatever, and like I said, a little working knowledge there, you can determine what the person's going for. Even wide vibratos is kind of hard to see sometimes because, like I said, they're pretty wide. I mean, this vibrato covers this whole note, so it's like, hey, is he going for this note or this note? If you can hear the melody in your head, you know which one it should be. Here's the harmony. And like I said, starting out, I recommend you listen to this stuff. I can look at the notes and be like, okay, I can hear the melody in my head, and plus I know this song. Turn the harmony up so we can. Put your head on the ground. Put your head on the ground. Our young warship for you. You know, Antera's Autotune does this, and I wish they would hurry up and fix this. This has been an issue from day one. See how I did this weird octave jump in the way it picked up the notes? If we listen to it.
Our young warship through you.
I don't know, making Tommy cringe. You're used to it by now. But I've run into this issue before, like where it's just not wanting to trace. You can try some of the different input settings. I've even used like bass instrument, and sometimes it'll actually pick up the note.
Our young warship through you.
It actually did a little better with that. I don't know why this does that, but it does. So if you encounter that, it's not a.
Our young warship through you.
See, low mel. Well, of course you're singing pretty low, so that would make sense. That would work, but yeah, that setting worked better than tenor alto section, which technically this is in the tenor range, but for some reason that didn't want to work.
We have a question from online, Jamie. Mountain Stream wants to know, can you automate the retune speed? Is there a way to do that so that, or do you just click different sections like you're doing now and use different?
I usually do that. I mean, I think you might be able to do that. Let me look at.
That is really effectively a way to automate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm manually tuning each section by section, but if you wanted to actually use the automate, use this as a real-time plugin.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there may be a way to do that. Let me see. Let me just throw it on the vocal bus and see if there's that possibility exists. Retune, yeah, it does. So you can, like I said, I don't know how many people are familiar with Pro Tools, and if you go under, if you just click the auto button, the automation, like I said, on the, for instance, this is a, say I put the Autotune, we'd want to put it on each individual track, because you can't, let me undo that. Say we wanted to run Autotune and run it automatically. I don't, this kind of would be very time consuming, and like it'd be easier to do what I was just doing, like exponentially. But like I said, all the plugins in Pro Tools have this feature, like that you can use as a real time plugin. But you can go into this auto feature, and then like if you look at the automation, let me toggle over.
Would that be beneficial? Because I know some people run like Pro Tools Live, and if you had like a section you wanted to sound like a robot, you could automate that one section.
Yeah, that's
and that would happen.
Yeah, that'd be a good use for this actually.
That's what
I mean,
I'm
so
saying.
maybe if you want to use it live,
to get that effect.
you'll need to use HD or the Pro Tools Live actual version, because obviously the RTAS versions, the old school RTAS versions, there's too much latency to use live. Yeah. And I'm not sure about Pro Tools 11, but I'm thinking there's probably still too much latency unless you're using some professional live application stuff. But I mean, yeah, it's absolutely possible to do that, because like if you're singing along, you could program the notes.
Yep.
and it'll tune you to whatever the notes are supposed to be, no matter what you're singing. And people are using that, trust me, like they are. But yeah, but like I said, your normal automation, you got your volume, you got your volume trim, you got your mute, you got your pan. That's your default automation stuff. But like I said, you can add any plugin that you have on that track. You can add more automation. Say, hey, I want to automate the retune speed. Let me add that. Okay. Go back here. And I just lied to you. Let me. No, I didn't. It's just I was on the wrong track. No, but here it is. See, because I have the tuner on the vocal track. But here's the retune speed. Now you can automate the retune speed.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Or any other facet of this whole plugin, apparently, like
Oh, well, yeah.
and the master master bypass. If you want to bypass it for a moment, you can tell the bypass to turn on and off. Here it is. So every plugin has that ability in any plugin you have, and I use that, for the underwater effect type of thing, where you're taking there's some other classes that in Creative Live that talk about special effects and things like that, and they go over it. But you can automate the high pass filter or whatever to come up so that it sounds like the music's coming. It's like coming. Becoming more present or coming out of the water, like a lot of people say. It's coming out, underwater type environment or something. But yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I would not do that because this is more.
It's easier for you to do. Yeah,
I mean, it's faster.
Yeah. While you're doing that, Matt had a question. Matt Chambly had a question. I noticed the Autotune sample rate's 44.1. Do you always record at 44.1, or is that just?
Yeah, good question.
What's your preference?
Yeah, like I said, I've done a lot of research about it, and I think there's maybe it's just I can't hear it, but I still record 24-bit 44.1. To me, like I said, I've read conflicting theories, and that obviously CDs are still 16-bit 44.1. So I've read a theory that if you record in 48 or 96 or any of those other settings or whatever, that actually converting down actually could potentially be degrading your audio quality.
Well, it is, right?
Yeah.
But it actually.
But actually, it could be
sounding
worse than converting from, say, I keep 24-bit 44.1, keeping the sample rate the same. There's no conversion that happens.
Right.
So whatever it's capturing my quality preamps, my quality, the D8 conversion's good, all that stuff.
Yeah.
My quality mics is capturing all that at 44.1, and it just stays the same. Now the bit rate, I think, is sounds better because all your plugins and stuff process at a higher bit rate or whatever. The plugins and all that stuff sounds better to me. I can hear that. I can hear a difference between 48. But then having said that, I don't want to convert from 48 to 44.1 because what it has to do it has to just throw away bits of information.
Right.
And if the bit of information is in the resonance of a note, that's not going to be a big deal. But if that bit of information is actually in the formant of the note or the transient, like of the kick drum, it's going to take the punch away a little bit, So I can see that logic. And there's also, I read a study, they're talking about how speakers are designed to, reproduce frequencies within the hearable range. So if you're recording stuff at, say, 192, these super high, sample rates and things like that, the speaker's trying to reproduce these super high frequencies that humans can't even hear. I mean, most of us can only hear, up to, 20K at best. So it's trying to reproduce these frequencies, and it actually is, in theory, making the other frequencies sound more crappy because your speaker is struggling to reproduce these dog frequencies,
Right.
And, so, I mean, I've just gone with what I can personally hear. And to me, 24-bit 44.1 sounds fine. I know, I've read that Andy Sneap was a guy I really respect in the metal production realm. He still records 44.1, and you get some of the best sounding metal, production that there is, in terms of hi-fi and stuff. So, to me, it's I've kind of come to the conclusion it's like maybe recording higher is just kind of a waste of hard drive space, because obviously the higher the file size is exponentially larger, which slows down the performance of your computer. There's a lot of aspects, and obviously it limits your track count with the older Pro Tools. I don't know about the new Pro Tools. you get more track count if you just keep it 2441.
Cool.
But long answer to 2441. 44.1.
Our young warship the youth.
I watched one of the Creative Live. I can't remember which one it was, but somebody talked about future-proofing music with the sample rates and stuff like that. To me, I feel like the future is getting lower quality. Everybody is fine with MP3s, which is lower than CD quality. So
A lot of people listen to music on their laptop speakers.
yeah,
Which is
terrible sounding.
yeah.
To me, I mean, it's possible. I just don't foresee I think it's gotten to the point where, hey, everybody's like, it's good enough.
Yeah.
And they don't care if it's better quality. They would
Well,
rather have
unfortunately
smaller
now
file
it's all
size.
time money. That's what it's all down to. Like the
Yeah.
label wants it done quickly. Everybody just wants it done.
Warship the youth.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool. Yeah, I mean, that's I mean, because I've gone over, like I said, the stripping the noise. I can talk about before I, because this, this takes a little time to go through and do this.
So how about for screams? Do you tune the screams, or is that
You can pitch them up or down. Technically, you can't tune because screams are more percussive in nature.
Non-tonal, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I'll show you what it looks like if you load it in screams. I'm sure people have messed around with trying to,
Pitch them up or down. Like I
Yeah.
know some people pitch them way down, right?
Yeah, it's a kind of an effect or whatever, just trying to make it sound
Definitely.
more brutal than you really can do it.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that's not when it's real and not though.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially the low stuff.
It's like, come on, man, you can't. You're not that monstrous sounding. But if you're, it's a cool tool to use if you're, doing a devil movie.
Yeah.
And you want a
Yeah,
devil
yeah.
voice. It's like
Yeah.
it's like the whole. Everybody thinks the devil's really low pitch for some reason. What if he's high pitched? He's like, hey,
What's up, guys?
I mean, I don't know who determined the devil's low pitch, but
I'm gonna be thinking about that all
I
day.
know.
it's funny because I mean, I guess through cartoons and movies and stuff,
Yeah.
like Tyrannosaurus Rex is low pitched,
Right.
but maybe not.
Scary
Maybe
things
it's
are.
like,
Yeah,
like it sounds like a
low
bird.
pitch.
I don't know.
No one listens what alive.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like an animal of some sort.
No one listens what alive.
Yeah, it sounds good.
You see what it does? See what the vocal tune? Those are the pitches.
Is that what that go was? Or no?
I think I don't know. I think I just highlighted the wrong thing, but you see how vocal Autotune just doesn't even pick it up.
It's like, what's happening?
Even though there's kind of a pitch, it's just more percussive. It's just like. So the only way we could grab
It's like a pad or something.
yeah, we could grab just regular pitch shift and just
No one listens what alive.
Or you
Yeah,
make it sound
people-
like Alvin and Chip.
yeah, you could go the other way around with it.
That sounds like the devil. For sure.
Yeah, the devil just sounds like all of it together as one.
A big group.
But
You know, sing for a band.
yeah. So the pitching with the vocals with the Autotune just it's not possible. But there's a style that Tommy does, like I said, that's really difficult to pitch, and a lot of people do. Devin Townsend, that the harsh, the kind of screamy sing stuff. Autotune doesn't like to pick that up. I don't know if Melodyne may pick that up better, or I know Waves Tune kind of picks it up a little better. I've messed with that, but it doesn't pick it up great. So I mean, a lot of times I've had to. Let's pull up the Tommy's fun voice.
No one listens what alive.
That's crazy sounding.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
But yeah, so we've got the fun voice there, and
Fun voice.
No one listens.
is that picking up? I can't.
No. No one lives this one life.
You should just talk to people like that.
That's how I talk to my son.
No one lives this one life.
See what? It's because it's kind of a combination of
kinda.
percussive
Yeah.
and a combination noise. Autotune doesn't like it. Autotune doesn't like it. It's if you draw this in, it's just gonna sound all glitchy. I'll do a demonstration. The time was pretty close to on pitch there anyway. Certainly close enough for the fun voice.
No one lives this one life.
Yeah.
You hear the artifact, because so
No one.
if he say he's saying, obviously you can use this kind of as a tool to see. They might have been like, 20 cents sharp or whatever. You can see right here. I got a tool, but you can see right here it tells you like the pitch.
Oh, okay.
You can look and like, okay, he might have been like 20 cents sharp. So you could use it as a tool to see. You can grab the the manual thing. I do it with the harsh vocals. You kind of have to do it manually. Luckily, with the harsh vocals, strangely, they don't have to be as in pitch as the singing stuff.
Yeah.
And it sounds good.
Cool.
You listen like Soundgarden, his voice is so, it's the pitch, like it's not exactly on, but it still sounds good.
Yep. Sounds real.
Yeah, and it's just and it's fine. But like I said, we know that note's a little, like 20 cents sharp or 15, 20 cents sharp. So I'm gonna just manually